me, the fundamental question about why I'm doing music, which is about communicating with people. It's when you bring it, at least as far as I'm concerned, it's when you bring it in front of people, the humans that this was written for and that we're practicing for. And you feel finally for the first time like what it feels like. And what a shame that without opportunities like the ones that Prairie Debut gives us, that we then retire those things and have to move on, you know? And so the things I'd learned as a young person, as a young professional, and even now, it's so amazing to have the opportunity to have these tours set up, to have all the logistics worked out so that we can just experience what it is to perform and get to know our music better from our side. Because just because you go somewhere and the audience doesn't know a lot about classical music does not mean they don't know anything about anything. I mean, I am shamed when if I make a historical reference sometimes during a pre-concert talk or during the midst of the concert, and then someone comes up very gently to correct me that in fact, no, this was the wrong year in 18 something something. I don't have a musical background, but I was a historian at one point. I mean, you get the synthesis, right, of other knowledge bases about what you're doing. And so what does Prairie Debut bring in that sense? I mean, again, it allows for that to happen, it allows for that chemistry to take place. Well, on purely pragmatic levels, learning what the touring life is like. If one's goal is to be a performer, or at least that performing will be a significant part of your life, then understanding the rigors and like the demands of a touring life are incredibly important. Hi, Phil Chiu. I'm a Montreal-based pianist here on tour with my trio Saint Laurent, and we're here touring with Prairie Debut. Ooh, a little bit of background. Well, there's myself playing the keys. We have Marina Thibault on viola and Jean-François Normand on clarinet. We're a group we've been playing together about 5-6 years now, more or less. Came together kind of almost on a whim. We've gone through a couple name changes. We started as Trio Canoe because we decided to play together while we were on a mini canoe sort of day trip after a concert. And now we're Trio Saint Laurent, which is where, in fact, it just sounds a little more professional. And it is, of course, like the Great St. Lawrence is a huge part of the identity of where we are all based or all from. Well, the great thing about touring with an organization like Prairie Debut is that they specialize in nurturing and cultivating classical music in particular locales. And so something like Prairie Debut, it gives me an opportunity unlike any other, really. You know, we're so lucky in Canada to have something like Prairie Debut. All the logistics are handled, everything's rented, you never don't have to book your own flights, you don't have to book your own hotels, just all that stuff's taken care of, professional fees are paid, connections, all the concerts are already arranged for you. I mean, there's just so much work that's taken out of it that, of course, it's important to learn, but what you at least get to focus on is just how to stay in shape, how to travel, how to fly one night, wake up in the morning, drive, go play that concert, do the post-concert reception, wake up again, drive, you know, do the outreach, teach the masterclass, play the next concert. I mean, it is arduous in its own way. It is hard work, absolutely touring. And so Prairie Debut gives an incredible opportunity to live that life, you know, and to be treated as a professional. I would say, you know, with the state of classical music as it is, it always rides the economic downturns and upturns. We are really grateful, we should be so incredibly grateful that there are still organizations like Prairie Debut that help launch young musicians from obscurity, you know, to gives them a Canadian kind of platform, a Canadian platform. Right? Because not only is it the concerts, it's also that if we're in a region where there are radio and television and there's still CBC or still Radio Canada, then it means you get interviews, it means you get media pickup. I mean, there are a lot of very pragmatic things to be gained from that. And then all the things we discussed, the experience of giving concerts night after night, the experience of understanding how important the rapport with your audience actually is, how much it affects the success, you know, of that particular performance.